and you thought you were sending encrypted, and there's even a service on the internet that even announced that their service that they provide, it's easy, I guess, for somebody can come through and see what you've been doing. So that kind of is scary. I don't think anything, no matter what they come out with, somebody's already going to be coming out with something to, break it.
Oh, yeah, you're always a step behind when it comes behind with the security aspect of things like that. You're not going to be able to fix it until you see it broken, so you're always going to be a step behind.
Well, I had a friend years ago, worked for Microsoft as a programmer, where they'd be writing code for, programs. And he got really mad at Microsoft before he got fired. And probably one of the reasons why he got fired, he knew the back doors. So he went on various different sites and told people how they could go into that program in the back door and get into people's programs. And, he got in a little bit of trouble for that.
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. It's taken I'm sure he did get a little bit of trouble with that because he probably signed some type of anonymity or some type of contract, some non-disclosure with what they're doing. Microsoft doesn't play around when it comes to that. Being in the IT field myself and knowing some extensive Microsoft audits that I've been under over the years, they do not play around. Just for back in 2014, they did a mass audit worldwide to worldwide corporations and companies, and they pretty much kicked in the door and said, we're going to audit all your licensing and everything that you had as a Microsoft product. And if you say no, we're going to sue you. And we're going to cancel all your active licenses, and you're going to have to rebuy everything. And we said, okay, well, I guess we're going to comply. And, we complied. And even though we complied, they still completely redid all of our licensing, charging us more money, upping our fees, completely redoing all of our billing. And it was just a fiasco. And they were just Nazis about it. And you could do nothing about it because herein lies the number one issue. And we're going to tie this into conspiracy because this is what we like to do over the conspiracy order. The man wants to do this to control you. 99% of the business world runs on a Microsoft product. And because of that, they have control over you, and you need to abide by them.
What really scares me? I had a business in Bellevue, Washington, years and years ago. And two individuals came into my electronic business I had. I had a surplus electronic business. They used to come in. The first guy's name was Bill. You can figure out his last name. And his best friend at the time would come in quite often. And they came in bragging to me, look at this piece of software we just scored. The guy calls it Seattle DOS. Well,
Seattle DOS, like as in like DOS, like DOS.
Yeah, and they bought it for $200.
And then, here we are 30 years later, and it's probably worth, the fundamental code of what is built today in this era, $200 trillion, I would say.
Well, the guy did take him to court about it because he felt he got ripped off, after they went to IBM, because IBM at that time didn't have a patent on their computers or anything. It was a software. And long story short, the guy actually sued Bill Gates and Microsoft at that point. He got a very little bit of money, very little. But I mean, here's a guy who developed the software. It's his fault. He was stupid. He was stupid. He sold it and gave the rights away for nothing. So he deserved what he got. But I mean, without that, there would have been no Microsoft.
Yeah, 100%. And that's how it's always been, though. Everybody's stolen something and made it better, did something with it to get it out there. And actually, when it came down to it, like you said, it all boils down to the simple aspects of what they invested in. Bill Gates invested into the point-and-click aspect of things because he knew that's where the future was, and that's how people were going to be able to function with it, and that's how he really won. But, yeah, definitely.
That's $200 anybody ever spent.
Exactly right. What you said to what it turned into today, you couldn't beat it with a stick, right? So,
I just wish it would have been me. Gone to that garage sale and bought this piece of software and speculated for $200, which was quite a bit of money then. But I mean, God, it made somebody billionaires. Anyway, guys, again, the time is up. Actually, we've gone over about 5 minutes. I can still do that because I don't have the stations picking up for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So anyway, why don't you plug your website, everything for people can find you?
Well, I mean, Bobby and myself, we both have our Facebook page, Richard Wade, Bobby McCormick. We have a Facebook page called The Conspiracy Order. We are live every Saturday night on Spreaker. 51 Areas Paranormal Radio is what our network is called. It's basically us and another show. We go live on Spreaker. It goes to YouTube. We have a Twitter account called The Conspiracy Order. You can check us out there. We've just recently opened that one, so it's not very active at the moment, but it will be. And Bobby, am I missing any?
No, I think you got them all covered. You got the Facebooks, you got the Twitters.
What you guys need to do is, that's where my son came in really handy. I mean, he was unemployed at the time, so he had plenty of time. Find and get yourself on every app you guys can find.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to get your listeners, like I automatically put on apps I didn't even know existed. I am very popular in the UK, and I probably 30% of my audience is out of the UK. And then all of a sudden here about a month ago, a big audience base started out of Germany. It's because I somebody put me on an app. It covers Germany and all that stuff. And, I've gained a lot of listenership on that. Very important, okay? I mean, I don't know if you guys are on TuneIn, but TuneIn is not taking any new shows in at this time. And from what I hear, when they do start taking them in, they're going to be charging. But, try to get on as many apps as you can. Because, I mean, if you're relying on, like, Spreaker Radio, I use them. But at the same time I'm feeding out on them right now. I'm feeding out through my server on, some other places. If I had to rely on them, I mean, it's a small base. And, it does bring you people after you've been on, but if you go live, you'll find you don't get a huge amount. I mean, if I go on my server, that's where I find, thousands of people listening. If I go on a speaker, I look and I go, oh, wow. But, it's worth it.
There's 4.
It's worth it.
No, definitely. We're going to have to get out there. We'll definitely be expanding the horizons and getting out there and finding new apps to get out and try to get on anything and everything, Like we said, hit us up on all the handles, all the Facebook, the social medias, Richard Wade, Bobby McCormick, Conspiracy Order, all that good stuff. Tune in. This Saturday, I don't think we're not having an episode this Saturday because of the holiday. But yeah, pretty much every Saturday we're out there. We kind of put it out there. We put a blast out there a couple days before, a week before, on the subject matter and what we're talking about. And again, we invite everybody to call in, tune in, get in the chat room, throw some ideas out there, get involved.
Okay.
Tune in.
Well, hey, I really enjoyed having you guys on. And hey, Richard, keep in touch with me, will you?
Oh, sure, definitely. Thank you for having us on. I really appreciate it, and thank you for all the advice you've been giving us.
Okay. Well, guys, I enjoyed having you on, and, I wish you lots of, success with your podcast, and, I think, stick with it, and you're going to find, it's going to grow.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope we get to talk again soon. Really have a good time.
Okay, guys. You take care.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Papa. We'll talk to you.
Bye. So anyway, nice bunch of guys. So on Sunday, I have a guest host on, Kevin, that's going to be doing the show. I'm not sure yet on his subject matter what he's going to have, but he'll be on live between 7 and 8 p.m. Pacific West Coast time. Monday, we're going to take... actually, I got a guest on Monday, so we will be on the air on Monday. And I'm contemplating on also having a guest host on, or a host on for Saturdays also, and do an expanded show on Saturdays from like maybe 8 to 10 or something like that. I want to thank all the listeners out there that has been, watching us from the start. And, I've been watching you guys. I mean, we went, like I was explaining to, like, Richard, when we first started out, I was really depressed. I mean, 5 people listened a night, and now it's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. And I just want to say thank you. And, you can find us if you want to go look at our web at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. That's www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. On the website, I do have my advertiser, Phoenix Shaving, on there. It has a bunch of our shows. You can just click on and go live on it. And our prior shows, I think we go back almost 100 episodes of Night Dreams Talk Radio. And, almost from not from the beginning, but for the last 3 months. And, I do appreciate you guys listening. And if you want to be a guest, if you have a subject in the paranormal that you want to share, you can get a hold of me at motorcycletalkbygary@gmail.com. That's motorcycletalkbygary@gmail.com. Everybody, I want you to have a great evening. Stay out of trouble, and we'll hear you again. Again, make sure you listen on Sunday between 7 and 8.
You're listening to Night Dreams Radio with Gary Anderson.